I do welcome you to Bible Times. I'm Willard Pless, and I want to talk to you today about what's going on in this world, what's taking place right now, and the Bible gives this to us, so I want to share what the Bible gives. The Bible teaches that Satan gets kicked out of heaven, that he has a war with Michael and his angels, and he gets kicked out of heaven. And he comes to earth to build his kingdom here. And you look into Revelation chapter 12 and you learn about that, and you also learn that when Satan comes to earth, that he begins to persecute the woman. Now you might say, who is the woman? The woman is Israel. See, Israel is the one that brought Jesus into this world. Jesus came through Israel, and Israel is the woman that Satan begins to persecute them. And see, this is what we're looking at. The Bible is giving what's going on with Israel, what's going to happen to them, and what's going to take place with them. And we as Gentiles, we can look in the scriptures and see what the Bible's teaching. If you walk with Jesus, you can see. If you don't walk with Jesus, you lay the flesh away and get Jesus in your heart, and then you walk with him, and you'll see what's going on. And this is what we're looking at. And Satan's now here on earth. He came to earth on April the 8th in 2024. This is when the sun was turned to darkness. And Joel talked about that in his prophecy that Peter brought out there in Acts chapter 2. And Satan's now here on earth. He came in April in 2024 that he came, and he started this thing, and he's brought the beast to power that the Bible talks about. And we've learned that America has become the new Babylon. The Bible teaches that New Babylon will come back. And New Babylon started coming in 2000. That's when the Twin Towers were taken down in 2001, and New World Trade Center opened up in 2014, and then in 2017 the beast came, the rider, the white horse, showed up, and when Israel celebrated their 70th year of being back, that he went there and conquered them by flattery. He moved the American embassy to Jerusalem, and so the Bible teaches that Babylon's going to be back. It'll not be Nebuchadnezzar, but it'll be one like him. And we know that who this is. We know that this is President Trump. America has become the new Babylon to Israel. And America will conquer Israel without weapons. That it will be done through flattery. And you have to go to the book of Daniel and read about that, about Israel being conquered through flattery. And that was done in 2018. And then, see, this also starts the 7-year tribulation that will take us the 7 years. So you can count 7-year tribulation. See, Jesus is the one that taught about the tribulation. You have to go to Matthew chapter 24. And Jesus taught about the tribulation coming upon Israel. And see, this is Israel being conquered by the New Babylon, and that's what's going on. That Israel is conquered by the New Babylon, which is America. And President Trump, he's the new Nebuchadnezzar. And but see, we learned that Israel's going to cut him off. Book of Daniel chapter 9 teaches that Israel is eventually going to cut him off. See, he'll be just like Israel done Nebuchadnezzar. See, Nebuchadnezzar come in to Israel in about 608 BC. And then in 22 years later, when Israel kindly turned against Babylon and Nebuchadnezzar, that the temple was destroyed in 586 BC. That's 22 years later. And see, this will be done the same way. Israel is going to shut President Trump down. And Daniel chapter 9 teaches this, that they will shut him down, and this will begin after November the 22nd. See, it'll be done in 62 years from the time of President Kennedy's assassination. And they will turn President Trump off. They will cut him off. And then Israel is going to be flooded. That his President Trump's people are going to flood Jerusalem. And it'll be just like they did the Capitol Hill. See, all this stuff is playing over again. And with just like it was back in the book of Daniel, of course, it'll be different characters. It'll be a different nation that has become Babylon. It'll be a different Nebuchadnezzar, and we know that this is President Trump. And we also know who the second beast is that the Bible talks about, that has the two horns, that we learn about in Revelation chapter 13 here. We learn about President Trump, the beast, and then the second beast. And we also learn about when Jesus comes, he will take down the false prophet as well and cast him to fire. And we know the false prophet showed up back in during World War II. And you might say, who was the false prophet for the Bible New Testament time? You might say, who is that talking about? See, when you look at Scripture, realize that Balaam was the false prophet back in the Old Testament. And then when you come to the New Testament, there's going to be a false prophet that will show up as well. See, the New Testament tells us what's come into this world, especially the book of Daniel and the book of Revelation. And Paul talked about some things that would show up too. Now, we realize that it's not man's giving this stuff. It's Jesus giving it through man. He's the one that is giving this thing to the world. He's doing it through man. It's not them. See, it's not the man. It's not Daniel. that's doing it, but it's God doing it through Daniel. And the same way with the Apostle John. It's not John, but it's Jesus giving things through John. Because Jesus is the only one that can give things that will come. And this is Jesus giving these things in his book. And that's what we want to look at. We want to study the Bible. And when you look at who the false prophet was that showed up back in time World War II, was Billy Graham. He brought in the doctrine of once saved, always saved, eternal security, and the Bible doesn't teach that doctrine. The Bible teaches that you've got to lay the flesh away. You cannot have the Spirit in you if you don't lay the flesh away. And see, Balaam, he become a false prophet because, see, he wanted profit. That's the reason he done what he done. God wouldn't let him curse Israel, but Balaam stayed on with Balak and the kings and taught them how to deceive Israel by getting in amongst them. And see the false prophet Balaam, see, he done that in the Old Testament, and the false prophet in the New Testament will do the same thing. That he will teach a doctrine that don't teach to lay the flesh away, that you can still walk in the flesh and still be all right, and it will lead the church to fall too. People of the church world will believe that doctrine, that if you get in the church and you love your church and support your church, that but see, the Bible don't teach that. The Bible teaches that you lay the flesh away and you let Jesus in your heart and you walk with him and fellowship with him, and you'll be able to see and understand what's going on. And so Billy Graham, of course, was a false prophet that New Testament talks about. And we know, of course, Billy Graham's dead now, but his sons filled in his place with the same doctrine. See, Billy Graham become the spiritual advisor for the presidents, and plumb on up until President Trump, and he was still alive, and now that Franklin Graham is the one that's spiritual advisor for President Trump, with this same kind of doctrine. And this doctrine teaches you can come to faith, but you don't have to lay the flesh away, but you can still end up in heaven. You can still go to heaven. The Bible don't teach that we're going to heaven. The Bible teaches there's going to be a seventh millennial. And then at the end of the seventh millennial, Jesus is going to cleanse this world again, and there's going to be a new heaven, a new earth, a new Jerusalem. See, that's what the Bible teaches, that at the end of the seventh millennial, there's not going to be any more flesh world. But during the seventh millennial, there'll be a flesh world. That's why he chooses the 144,000 to live on, because they're going to still be in the flesh. And I'm learning that people that are not evil-hearted from the nations, if they're not evil-hearted, they'll be allowed to live on. There'll be nations here during the 7th millennium. There'll be nations throughout the world. And so we want to understand what the Bible is really talking about. Satan's here building his kingdom now, and you don't want to be a part of that. Don't get caught up in Satan's building his kingdom here. That's what's going on right now, and Israel is right in the middle of it. So learn what the Bible's talking about and talk to Jesus and let him in your heart and begin to walk with him, and you'll have the Spirit in you, and you'll be able to see and understand what's going on. And I hope you do that. And so God bless you, and you have a great day.